Welcome back. We have a special guest today joining us from TravelWise. Roxana's in Africa. So John Keller is joining us today. It's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes. Now, John represents TravelWise, but out of Vancouver, right?
Yes.
So you're here for just a little visit right now?
Just for the weekend.
How fabulous. Good. So tell me a little bit about how things are going at TravelWise for you.
Things are going well. So
Good.
I'm an outside agent. When I was here living in Kamloops, where I was born, Roxana hired me on basically as the intern. And I learned so much when I was in the office from Roxana and the other ladies. And then when I moved to Vancouver, she basically kept me on as an outside agent, keeping my passwords and basically just doing it on a freelance basis. So
that's awesome.
It's a really fantastic situation that Roxana has kindly allowed me to do. So I'm loving it.
Good for you. We have 4 travel deals to look at today, as we always do on Mondays. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a special trip that John's taking to Iceland. We're going to learn a little bit about Iceland, but that's in a minute. Right now, we're going to start with our first travel deal, Puerto Vallarta out of Kelowna.
That's right. So this is Puerto Vallarta direct from Kelowna. March 7th, and that'll be at a 4-star all-inclusive. And there's a couple of options. If you want to do 2 weeks, then you can do adults for $1,855 and kids for $1,045. So that would be 2 weeks in Puerto Vallarta direct out of Kelowna. So that's a really great deal. And then if 1 week is all you can manage, then $1,185 for adults and $875 for kids, and both of those prices are all taxes included.
That's awesome. And you know what? Flying out of Kelowna with kids is way easier than driving to Vancouver.
Much easier.
Yes. Next up, we have Cuba out of Vancouver.
Yes. So this is on Signature Vacations, departing on April 6th. That's at a 4-star all-inclusive, and all taxes included on this one as well. $1,466 for adults and $946 for children.
Okay. Next up is an Alaska cruise.
This is a really, really great deal. So this is on the Celebrity Century, and that's out of Vancouver. So that's June the 1st. That's an ocean view cabin. And I checked because that's such a low price. I called the office before I got here to make sure that that is including port charges and taxes, and it is. $10.97 per person. So that's based on double in an ocean view cabin. So that takes you up to Alaska and back down to Vancouver.
Fantastic. And then the last one, of course, is it's called
John's Iceland Adventure.
Nice. Let's take a look at those graphics there. There we go.
So I'm taking a group to Iceland, and it's going to be August 18th to 24th. This price includes the air, hotel, breakfast, and attractions, $2,100. So part of what makes this possible is Iceland Air's new route to Vancouver. So this is the first time they've ever flown into YVR. So there's a direct flight that's going to be about 4 times a week, direct from Vancouver to Iceland.
Let's talk a little bit about Iceland. What do we know about this town, or country? A lot of people don't know a lot about it. I don't know a lot about it. Turns out John's already been there before. 23 years old, already been to Iceland.
Yes.
Good for you.
It's a mysterious little island in the middle of the Atlantic.
But one of the most sparsely populated in the European Union.
Absolutely.
Let's hear about it. 322,000 people live in Iceland. I know that. I also know that an international study ranked Iceland as the 4th happiest nation in the world.
I am not surprised, having interacted with some Icelanders.
Really? What are they like?
They're very full of life, and they're, you know, such a small population in an isolated rock, basically. Their culture is so strong, and everything that they do is just so Iceland, and the influences are, you know, very far away. So it's just so unique. I think it's the most unique destination that we can access from here at such a great price, because it costs, you know, often over $800 to get to Halifax.
Right.
But you can get to Iceland for the same price and experience this totally foreign and amazing place.
So would you say there's a lot of tourism there? Because I understand their #1 industry is fishing.
Yes.
But do you see a lot of tourists there?
More and more. So over the last 5 years, I think the tourism has really increased. And people are starting to figure out that it's a great destination that's right between North America and Europe. So it makes a great stopover. And part of what Iceland Air has done successfully is allow people to stop over in Iceland for no extra cost and then continue on to Europe. So it makes a great stopover point. And, you know, everything that they have with the volcanoes, the geothermal spas, the capital, the music, people are really finding out that that's such a neat place to check out. So I think over the next few years, more and more people will be heading to Iceland.
What are their summers like? I mean, by its very name, it suggests that winter must be, you know, 11 months of the year, but does it have a nice warm season as well, a warmish season? Or?
It's not as hot as we're probably used to here in Kamloops, but it's definitely warm and comfortable. Winters are a little bit colder, of course, but the cool part is that because they're so far north, their sunsets are so late in the summer. and the sun is out for probably 20 hours of the day, and then in the wintertime it's the opposite.
Fantastic. If we haven't shown that one picture, we can. I don't know what this one picture of Iceland is that we have, but we'll take a look at it. If you're doing the tour guiding, what kind of things are people going to be doing with you?
So the first thing we'll do is the Golden Circle, and that includes that waterfall that's in the picture. So the Golden Circle is 3 big attractions in Iceland. So it's that beautiful waterfall. It's the part of the continent, because Iceland is right in the middle of the 2 continents in the ocean. So it's where the continental divide is. And then the other third one is the geysers, because it's a volcanic island. So the geysers and the hot water coming out of the rocks, which is really cool to see.
Fantastic. So an opportunity to do a couple of the things you have to do, but also maybe some time to mix with the locals.
Yeah.
People speak English there.
They do. They speak English very well.
Excellent.
And my favorite part of when I was in Iceland, and what I'll definitely be doing when I go back, is going and checking out the music that's happening in the capital, because they train their young people to play instruments and get together and learn music at such a young age, and it's such a part of their national culture. And so by the time they're 18 years old, they form some bands with their friends, they go play in the bars, and then people love them, and once in a while they get really big. And so going to Iceland at night, you can just check out all these neat local bands playing in the bars. So that's
awesome.
Going to be one of my favorite parts of the trip.
I hear crime is quite low there. That might just because there's such a small population and such a huge amount of space, but I hear crime is really low there. Is that true?
It is, yeah.
That's very cool.
I didn't see a whole lot of crime when I was there.
Right. Well, I think it's very interesting to learn about it. What's the capital, by the way?
Reykjavik.
Yeah, Reykjavik. There we go. I didn't know that either, but I'm really glad that you were on the show today to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
Sounds like it will be a really neat trip to take for sure. If you are interested, you can certainly contact John. His email address was just on the screen, travelwise.ca as well, and the phone number. John would be happy to fill you in with the details. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Susan, for having me.
Second time to Iceland at age 23. Well traveled.
Thank you.
I like it. We're back in 2 minutes with the weather. Stay with us.